There's a lot of interesting things going on with Xbox today. New hardware? What? I'm kind of baffled by that for a couple reasons. Now, nothing to do with what I have up on the screen right here, but I did want to comment on this because some people they're looking at Xbox. I like Xbox. I've had, since the Xbox 360, I did not adopt into the OG Xbox because honestly, when that came out, PS2 and whatnot, it was like, pfft, like they're not proven, you know what I mean? So I disregarded the OG Xbox. But after that, yeah, I've been into it. 360, Xbox One, Series S and X. I've owned it all, and I've been playing on all these things. But you see stuff like this. Their revenue falls, hardware revenue drops. Yeah, they haven't been selling as much hardware, it seems. But I've noticed, and I've been saying this for a while now, that Xbox's business, Microsoft with Xbox, has been shifting. They've been changing the way they've been wanting to do things. They just want to sell their games every which way they can. Access, making that money. And by them buying all these damn companies, yeah, they've been having some missteps with closing companies and whatnot, which is ridiculous. But, by having stuff like Call of Duty and whatnot, selling it on every damn system, and now putting games on the PS5, some people look at that like it's a bad thing. I'm kind of mixed on that. I do think console exclusives are important, but, some people will hate me for saying that. I mean, what sells a console? It's console exclusive, but it's neither here nor there, as the ladies like to say. But Xbox, they haven't. To me, it's like they want to make money. They're selling games, they're selling hardware, they're selling ways to play their games. And if it's on PC, if it's on another piece of hardware that they don't sell, they don't care. Like, it's just about selling those games. That's why they bought up all these damn companies that have proven to make a ton of money. You see stuff like this that their revenue drops, that they're not selling as much hardware, but they still are a profitable business. Right now, Xbox is not going, they're going nowhere. They're still out there. But with new hardware coming out, I saw this. This Windows Central article just came out by Jez Corden. I'm not going to read through this whole thing at all. I'm not going to read it. Like, I'll just give you guys the brief on it and my thoughts. But he's talking about how, like, they have some kind of insider information, I guess. Xbox's new hardware plans begin with a gaming handheld set for later this year, with full next-gen consoles targeting 2027. My God. Okay, so their hardware plans, a gaming handheld. We've been thinking and talking and speculating on this for a while, right? Makes sense. A new handheld from Xbox. That would be cool. But it seems like if that takes place, and even reading this article, it's just like it's going to be through like another manufacturer, Asus, MSI, somebody like that, right? And it's just going to be like a Windows handheld with, Xbox branding on it type of thing. Like PC Game Pass is not necessarily going to be an Xbox handheld. It's just most likely going to be something where it's running Windows 11 that has special features enabled that knows, hey, it's handheld mode, stuff like that. So it could be cool, but it may be just something to test the waters where they're not necessarily producing the hardware. Maybe they're partnering with another company. That's the way it seems to me from reading this article. And that could be cool. But at the same time, when they put something out like that, it's like there's got to be something that really makes it special versus what we already have access to handheld wise, because we could play PC Game Pass, we could play Microsoft games on pretty much every handheld that's out there. That's a PC handheld, so yeah, maybe having special features through Windows could be something interesting that's only accessible through whatever this handheld is. But then it'd be like, well, why aren't those features enabled through everything else? So we'll have to see with that. But then the other thing, successors to the Series X and S, it sounds like there will be no successor to the S. It'll just be the X, like a whole new console, more powerful console coming out. But then I guess the handheld line will be in the place of the Series S, possibly. I guess that makes sense. But seeing that this whole next generation coming out in 2027, I don't know, man. There's been a lot of talks where people have been thinking that Xbox was just going to be going the way of Sega with like what we were talking about earlier, consoles not selling as well. stuff like that. But like, I don't even think that's been as big of a deal. But it would make sense if Xbox went the way of Sega, just a more successful version of that, because they are more successful, but they don't need to. They could continue making consoles if they want, because they could put their games any which on everything. And that's kind of already what their focus is. Like, hey, we just sell their games PC, put some of their games in PS5, maybe even on the next Switch that's coming out, right? That's the way it seems. So 2027, it seems like the Xbox Series X and PS5 just came out yesterday. I know it's been some time, but this generation's felt weird. Like, it's what's really going to define the Series X and PS5 generation? I think in the future, some years down the road, people are not going to look back at this generation fondly necessarily, like, because there's not much in my eyes that defines it. So I'm kind of finding this next full next gen consoles targeting 2027. Is that just going to be a stepping stone? Is it going to be the Xbox Series X Pro? Or is that going to be a full on next generation? I think with Xbox, the way they're doing things anyway, and they're kind of smart. I like their backwards compatibility stuff. It would only make sense. The next generation console they put out is going to play everything that Series X plays. Why wouldn't it? It seems like they're adopting that everything Windows type thing, where whatever this box that comes out is essentially going to be a simplified PC for the living room. Is that really like the future? I mean, that's the way it seems now anyway. But I mean, even in this article, they talk about like kind of Xbox going away from the way like PS5 or Sony and Nintendo do things with their closed systems, and them being more Windows orientated and stuff like that. So, I mean, that would kind of make sense. I'm really just curious to see how this pans out, because if they're putting out a whole new system in 2027, PlayStation, Sony, they're not just going to sit there. They're going to have to put something out too. They don't like, they want to be out around the same time. So they have to compete, right? They want to be left in the dust. And if they do go against the grain this time, are they just going to say, screw it, we'll come out a year or two later and let Xbox do their thing? I don't know, because then what are third parties going to do? Obviously, Xbox developers are going to develop for that system in mind. But what about third parties? Are they going to develop for PS5 and then like that's the baseline? And then for the new Xbox that comes out, like it's just they're not upgrading? Or are they going to develop for the new Xbox and then downgrade for the PS5? I don't know. It's been a weird generation. And then just already talking about another generation in 2027. Is that too soon? Does this generation just feel like it's been a waste? There's just so much to ponder, man. It's felt weird is all I'm saying. But let me know what you guys think. Yeah, I guess new Xbox stuff coming out 2027. New handheld this year that's probably not really going to feel like an Xbox handheld, but we'll have to wait and see. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching. Bye.